Do men experience hormonal changes like periods? Imagine waking up feeling completely off, fatigued, irritated, lacking focus, and unmotivated. Maybe you snapped at someone for no reason or felt waves of sadness hit you out of nowhere. You chalk it up to stress or maybe a bad night's sleep. But what if the reason is deeper? What if these mood swings and changes are hormonal, and you didn't even realize it? We often associate hormones and cycles with women, especially when it comes to menstruation. But here's a surprising truth. Men experience hormonal fluctuations too. While men don't have periods in the traditional sense, no bleeding, no ovulation, they do go through cyclical hormonal changes that impact their mood, energy levels, mental clarity, and even relationships. This concept is still relatively unknown to most people, but science is catching up, and what it's revealing is fascinating and eye-opening. The myth that men are emotionally stable all month long. There's a common societal belief that men are emotionally steady, and it's only women who have hormonal ups and downs. This stereotype isn't just false. It's harmful. It makes men feel ashamed of their emotions. It tells them to bottle things up and to man up when they're struggling inside. But research is proving what many men have quietly known all along. Sometimes they just don't feel like themselves, and there's no logical explanation. The culprit? Hormonal fluctuations. The male hormonal cycle. Yes, it exists. Let's be clear, men do not have a menstrual cycle. However, their hormones do follow a pattern. Unlike the 28-day menstrual cycle in women, the male hormonal cycle operates on a 24-hour rhythm, tied closely to testosterone levels. Testosterone peaks in the morning. It gradually declines throughout the day. This daily rise and fall can affect energy, mood, focus, and sexual desire. But that's not the only cycle at play. Men also experience seasonal fluctuations. Testosterone can be higher in certain seasons, particularly in late fall and winter. Age-related decline. Starting around age 30, testosterone levels begin to drop by about 1% per year. So yes, men do have hormonal cycles. They're just different from women's. Introducing Irritable Male Syndrome, IMS. Ever heard of PMS, premenstrual syndrome, in women? Of course you have. But have you heard of IMS, Irritable Male Syndrome? Coined by researcher Jed Diamond, IMS refers to a group of symptoms experienced by men due to fluctuating hormone levels, particularly low testosterone. These symptoms include mood swings, aggression, fatigue, low libido, anxiety, depression. And unlike PMS, which follows a monthly rhythm, IMS can appear sporadically or become chronic as testosterone continues to decline with age. The most concerning part? Many men have no idea what's causing these feelings. They're not even aware hormones could be involved. That lack of awareness often leads to misdiagnosis, stress, and frustration in both personal and professional relationships. The emotional impact of testosterone. Testosterone isn't just about muscles and sex drive. It also plays a big role in emotional regulation. When testosterone levels dip, men may experience lack of motivation, feeling emotionally numb, increased sensitivity, sudden bursts of anger or sadness. These changes can mimic symptoms of depression or anxiety. Men often don't connect these feelings to hormonal shifts, but the link is real. And just like women get emotional during their periods due to hormone changes, men can experience emotional turbulence from testosterone fluctuations. The physical signs of male hormonal shifts. The effects of hormonal changes aren't just emotional, they're physical too. Here's what men might notice. Fatigue. A persistent feeling of tiredness, even after sleep. Low libido. Less interest in sex or difficulty maintaining erections. Weight gain, especially around the midsection. Muscle loss. Decrease in strength or muscle mass. Poor sleep. Difficulty falling or staying asleep. Hair thinning, especially if testosterone drops significantly. These symptoms often appear gradually and are easy to dismiss. But combined, they point to something deeper, hormonal imbalance. What causes testosterone to fluctuate? Several factors can influence male hormone levels. Here are the most common. Stress. Chronic stress increases cortisol, which suppresses testosterone. Poor sleep. Testosterone production peaks during sleep. Lack of rest affects this. Unhealthy diet. Too much sugar, processed foods, and lack of essential nutrients disrupt hormone balance. Lack of exercise. Physical activity boosts testosterone. Being sedentary does the opposite. Substance abuse, alcohol, smoking, and drug use reduce testosterone levels. Age, natural aging, gradually lowers testosterone over time. Even emotional stress from work, relationships, or financial issues can contribute to hormonal shifts in men. Can men track their hormonal cycle? While women often use period tracking apps, men don't typically think about tracking hormones. But maybe they should. By noting changes in mood, energy, and sex drive across the week or month, men can start identifying patterns in their hormonal rhythm. For example, feeling energized and focused in the morning? That's your testosterone peak. Feeling low or irritable in the evening? That's your natural hormone dip. Do you feel off for a few days every month? That could be your body's cycle. Recognizing these patterns is the first step toward managing them. Andropause, the male menopause. Yes, you read that right. There is a male equivalent to menopause, andropause. Andropause typically occurs in men between the ages of 40 and 60 and is characterized by decreased testosterone levels, mood changes, reduced libido, hot flashes. Yes, men can have these too. Bone density loss, memory issues. Unlike female menopause, which occurs over a shorter period, andropause is gradual. Many men may not realize it's happening until symptoms start affecting their quality of life. How to cope with male hormonal changes. The good news, men can take steps to regulate their hormones and reduce the effects of fluctuations. Here's how. 1. Exercise regularly. Strength training and cardio can boost testosterone. 2. Eat a hormone-friendly diet. High in lean proteins, healthy fats, fruits, and veggies. 3. Get enough sleep. Aim for 7-9 hours each night. 4. Manage stress. Meditation, journaling, or therapy can help. 5. Avoid alcohol and tobacco. Both lower testosterone. 6. Stay sexually active. Regular sexual activity supports hormone health. 7. Talk to a doctor. If symptoms persist, blood tests and hormone therapy might help. Chat, it's time to normalize hormonal health for men. For too long, male hormones have been overlooked in health conversations. Emotional ups and downs in men are often dismissed or misunderstood, leading to frustration and silence. But just like women, men's bodies are complex. Hormones shape everything from mood to energy to self-confidence. Recognizing that is powerful and liberating. It gives men permission to explore their emotional health without shame. It helps partners understand each other better, and it removes the stigma of talking openly about how men feel. Conclusion. Yes, men have hormonal changes, and it's time we talk about it. So, do men experience hormonal changes like periods? Yes, just differently. While there's no bleeding or predictable monthly cycle, men do go through hormonal fluctuations that impact their emotions, physical health, and mental clarity. These changes may be subtle, but they are real. Whether it's the daily rise and fall of testosterone, age-related decline, or sudden drops caused by stress or lifestyle, hormones affect men far more than they're often given credit for. And understanding that could be the key to better health, stronger relationships, and a more balanced life. We often think of hormones as a female thing, closely tied to menstruation, pregnancy, and menopause. But the truth is, men have hormonal cycles too. They're just not as obvious. There's no monthly bleeding, no ovulation, no PMS. Yet many men experience mood swings, fatigue, low libido, and unexplained emotional shifts. The common cause? Hormonal fluctuations, especially involving testosterone. The idea that men are hormonally steady and women are emotional is outdated. Science has shown that men experience hormonal ups and downs just like women, just on a different timeline. While women typically have a 28-day menstrual cycle, men have a 24-hour hormonal cycle, with testosterone peaking in the morning and gradually declining throughout the day. This daily shift can dramatically affect mood, energy, and focus. In addition to this daily rhythm, testosterone levels can fluctuate seasonally and across a man's lifespan. Starting in their 30s, men begin to experience a gradual decline in testosterone, about 1% per year. This slow reduction can bring a host of changes: reduced energy, irritability, depression, decreased muscle mass, and changes in libido. Despite this, most men are unaware of what's happening inside their bodies. When they feel emotionally or physically off, they often blame stress, work, or external circumstances, never suspecting their hormones. One term that's gaining attention is irritable male syndrome, IMS, a condition marked by low testosterone, mood changes, and irritability. It's often compared to PMS in women, but many men don't even know it exists. IMS can make men feel anxious, sad, angry, or detached, sometimes without any clear reason. These shifts can affect work, relationships, and overall well-being. Hormones affect more than just mood. They play a role in sleep, metabolism, concentration, and emotional regulation. A drop in testosterone doesn't just lower libido. It can lead to sleep disturbances, weight gain, decreased motivation, and even memory issues. Some men feel like they're not themselves, but don't realize hormones are behind it. So what causes testosterone to drop or fluctuate? Stress. Chronic stress raises cortisol, which suppresses testosterone. Poor sleep. Sleep is essential for hormone production. Less sleep means less testosterone. Diet. High sugar, processed foods, and alcohol all reduce testosterone levels. Lack of exercise. Physical activity boosts testosterone. Being inactive lowers it. Age. Natural aging slowly reduces hormone levels. Recognizing the signs of low testosterone is important. These include persistent fatigue, low sex drive, mood changes, irritability, loss of muscle mass, and increased belly fat. While these symptoms can be subtle, they build over time and can seriously affect quality of life. Tracking mood, energy levels, and sex drive over days or weeks can help men identify patterns. Some men notice they feel low or irritable at the same time each month. This isn't random. It may be a sign of their body's unique hormonal rhythm. While man periods might sound like a joke, the emotional and physical impact is no laughing matter. Hormonal changes in men are real, and they deserve attention. Denying them only leads to silence, shame, and confusion. Accepting them opens the door to better health, stronger relationships, and emotional awareness. Many men who experience hormonal imbalance don't seek help. They're told to tough it out or deal with it. But hormone levels can be tested, and treatments, from lifestyle changes to medical therapies, are available. Just like women learn to manage their cycles, men can learn to manage their hormonal health too. The stigma around male emotions and hormonal shifts needs to end. Men are human. They feel deeply. Their hormones rise and fall, and acknowledging that is not weakness. It's wisdom. Understanding male hormonal changes isn't just helpful for men. It's helpful for everyone. Partners can better support one another. Families can communicate more openly, and men can live with greater self-awareness, confidence, and peace of mind. In Part 2, we'll explore the science behind testosterone's impact on male behavior, how to recognize hormonal imbalance, and what steps men can take to regain control of their health. The science of testosterone and its impact on male behavior. Testosterone is often labeled the male hormone, and while women have it too, men produce it in much larger amounts. It's responsible for the development of male physical features, like muscle growth, deep voice, and facial hair. But its influence goes far beyond the surface. Testosterone plays a central role in behavior, emotions, motivation, confidence, and even decision-making. Let's begin with the basics. Testosterone is produced primarily in the testes and is regulated by signals from the brain, specifically the hypothalamus and pituitary gland. These signals fluctuate naturally, influenced by everything from sleep quality and physical activity to stress and aging. Men typically experience their highest testosterone levels early in the morning. This is why many men feel more energetic, focused, and sexually active upon waking. But by late afternoon or evening, levels start to drop, and with them, energy and mood may dip as well. This is part of the daily hormonal cycle, a rhythm that repeats every 24 hours. But what happens when testosterone is consistently low? Low testosterone, also known as hypogonadism, can profoundly affect a man's quality of life. It doesn't just result in low sex drive or fatigue. It can alter how a man thinks, feels, and acts. Some of the key effects include depression and anxiety. Men with low testosterone often report feeling down, hopeless, or anxious without a clear cause. Irritability. Small annoyances can become major triggers. Emotional reactions may feel exaggerated or out of character. Lack of motivation. Even tasks that once felt exciting or meaningful may lose their appeal. Decreased confidence. Testosterone influences assertiveness and risk-taking. When levels drop, self-doubt can creep in. Poor concentration. Memory and focus may decline, leading to forgetfulness and mental fog. Sleep issues. Hormone imbalance can disrupt sleep patterns, making it hard to fall or stay asleep. Physical decline. Muscle loss, increased fat, especially belly fat, and reduced stamina are all linked to testosterone decline. These changes don't happen overnight. They build slowly, making them easy to overlook. Men may not even notice they're different until the effects start interfering with work, relationships, or their sense of identity. One of the most troubling impacts of low testosterone is how it strains relationships. A man may become more distant, irritable, or emotionally unavailable, not because he wants to, but because his body is undergoing internal shifts. This often leads to misunderstanding and conflict, especially if neither partner is aware of what's happening. Partners might assume disinterest or emotional coldness, but in reality, the man is dealing with a physiological issue. When both people understand the role hormones play, empathy and support become easier. Some researchers argue that men may experience a monthly hormonal rhythm, similar in emotional effect to PMS. They describe it as a hormonal hangover that causes fatigue, sensitivity, and mood swings. It may not be as visible or predictable as a woman's menstrual cycle, but the emotional undercurrent can be very real. Another key phase of hormonal change in men is andropause, often referred to as male menopause. This isn't a sudden event like female menopause, but rather a slow decline in testosterone that can start as early as a man's 30s or 40s. Andropause symptoms may include hot flashes, decreased libido, night sweats, emotional instability, trouble concentrating, decreased bone density, muscle weakness. Unfortunately, many men suffer in silence because andropause isn't widely discussed or acknowledged. Society expects men to be strong, unshaken, and emotionally stable. But biology tells a different story. Just like women are encouraged to track their cycles, men can benefit from tracking their mood, sleep, energy, and libido. This creates awareness of their own hormonal patterns and gives them insight into how their body functions. Over time, they may discover emotional dips that occur regularly, monthly, weekly, or even seasonally. If symptoms are interfering with daily life, men should not hesitate to seek medical advice. A simple blood test can check testosterone levels. If levels are low, doctors might recommend lifestyle changes, including more exercise, better nutrition, stress reduction, and quality sleep. Natural supplements, some herbs and vitamins like zinc, magnesium, and ashwagandha can support hormone balance. Hormone replacement therapy, HRT. In cases of very low testosterone, this can be life-changing, but it must be monitored by a professional. It's important to note that self-diagnosing or taking unprescribed testosterone supplements can be dangerous. Hormones are delicate and must be balanced carefully. On a broader scale, we need to challenge the outdated notion that men should ignore or suppress emotional shifts. Hormonal health is part of overall health, and emotional well-being matters just as much as physical fitness. In the next part, we'll explore practical strategies for balancing male hormones naturally, how to support men going through hormonal changes, and why emotional intelligence is just as vital for men as it is for women. Balancing male hormones naturally and recognizing emotional shifts. Now that we've established how hormonal changes affect men, physically, mentally, and emotionally, it's time to explore how to manage and balance those shifts. The good news is, you don't need expensive treatments to start feeling better. Many lifestyle changes can significantly improve hormonal health and bring back energy, focus, and emotional stability. The foundation: diet and nutrition. What you eat directly impacts your hormone levels. Testosterone production relies on certain nutrients, and poor dietary habits can send your hormones into chaos. Key foods that boost testosterone: healthy fats, found in avocados, nuts, olive oil, and fatty fish. Fats are essential for hormone production. High-protein foods: eggs, lean meats, legumes, and dairy support muscle repair and testosterone synthesis. Zinc-rich foods, like pumpkin seeds, spinach, red meat, and shellfish. Zinc is crucial for testosterone levels. Magnesium, found in leafy greens, almonds, and dark chocolate, it helps in testosterone regulation. Vitamin D. Sunlight is your best source, but you can also get it from fortified foods and supplements. Low vitamin D is linked to low testosterone. Foods to avoid: processed sugar causes insulin spikes and hormonal disruption. Alcohol, especially in excess, it lowers testosterone. Trans fats, found in fried foods and processed snacks, these can reduce hormone production. Soy-based products. In large quantities, soy may mimic estrogen and disrupt the hormonal balance. A diet high in whole foods, fiber, protein, and healthy fats supports not just testosterone, but overall male vitality. Movement and exercise. Exercise is one of the most powerful natural tools to increase testosterone. Even moderate activity helps, but certain forms are particularly effective. Hack! Best exercises for hormonal health. Strength training. Lifting weights has been shown to spike testosterone levels, especially compound movements like squats and deadlifts. High-intensity interval training, HIIT, alternating short bursts of intense activity with rest periods. Consistency. Exercise regularly, 3 to 5 times a week for at least 30 minutes. Avoid overtraining, though. Too much intense exercise without recovery can raise cortisol and suppress testosterone. Sleep, the hormone repair shop. Sleep is when your body restores balance. Testosterone levels are highest in the morning, after a full night of quality sleep. Poor sleep leads to low energy, poor mood, and lower testosterone. Tips for better sleep. Stick to a consistent sleep schedule. Avoid screens 1 to 2 hours before bed. Limit caffeine and alcohol, especially in the evening. Make your bedroom dark, cool, and quiet. Aim for 7 to 9 hours per night. Even one bad night's sleep can lower testosterone levels the next day. Chronic sleep deprivation is one of the most overlooked causes of hormonal imbalance in men. Managing stress to protect testosterone. Chronic stress is a testosterone killer. When your body perceives stress, it releases cortisol, a hormone that helps you survive immediate threats. But high cortisol over time disrupts testosterone production. Stress management tools. Mindfulness and meditation. Daily breathing exercises can reduce cortisol levels. Time outdoors. Nature calms the nervous system. Journaling. Getting thoughts out on paper clears mental clutter. Connection. Spend time with friends or loved ones. Human connection naturally reduces stress hormones. Even a few minutes of intentional relaxation each day can have a major impact on hormonal balance. Recognizing the emotional side of hormonal fluctuations. Hormonal shifts don't just affect the body. They show up in your thoughts, reactions, and relationships. Common emotional signs of hormonal imbalance: sudden irritability or anger, feeling disconnected or emotionally numb, difficulty expressing emotions, low motivation or drive, emotional overreactions to small issues. These are not signs of weakness, they're signals from your body. Men are often taught to suppress emotions, but this only worsens the internal conflict. Hormonal changes can explain why you feel unlike yourself sometimes, and that's okay. Recognizing patterns can help. Maybe you feel low energy or moody during the first week of the month. Or maybe you're always more confident and driven during certain times of the day. Tracking these patterns over time, either in a journal or an app, can help you anticipate and prepare for emotional shifts. Supporting men through hormonal shifts. If you're a partner, friend, or family member of someone going through hormonal changes, your support matters. Here's how you can help. Listen without judgment. Men often feel embarrassed or confused about mood swings. Your openness creates safety. Encourage healthy habits. Suggest joint workouts, cooking healthy meals, or practicing stress-reducing activities together. Validate emotions. Let them know it's okay to feel overwhelmed. Hormones are powerful, but they can be managed. Suggest medical checkups. If symptoms are persistent, a simple hormone test can provide clarity. Often, men don't seek help until things become unbearable. A supportive environment makes a huge difference. The importance of emotional intelligence. Hormonal health isn't just about the physical body. It's tied directly to mental health, self-image, and emotional strength. That's why developing emotional intelligence, EQ, is critical. EQ helps men recognize when something feels off emotionally, express feelings in healthy, non-destructive ways, navigate relationships with greater empathy and communication, respond to stress more calmly. Developing EQ is like building a muscle. It takes time and awareness. But as hormonal cycles become better understood, EQ becomes one of the best tools to handle them with clarity and control. When to seek medical help. While lifestyle changes help many men, sometimes professional intervention is needed. If you experience ongoing fatigue, low sex drive, depression or anxiety, loss of muscle or hair, trouble concentrating, emotional instability, it may be time to talk to a doctor. A blood test can measure testosterone and other hormone levels. From there, treatment options like testosterone replacement therapy, TRT, can be considered, but only under medical supervision. TRT can restore balance and improve quality of life for men with clinically low testosterone, but it isn't suitable for everyone. It's important to weigh the risks and benefits with a qualified healthcare provider. In the next part, will the deeper societal pressures on men to hide their emotions, why these expectations are outdated, and how breaking this silence can lead to a healthier, more emotionally resilient generation of men. Breaking the silence, redefining masculinity and emotional health. For generations, men have been conditioned to believe that expressing emotion is a sign of weakness. They're taught to man up, push through, or don't cry. These messages start early and are reinforced through culture, media, and even family systems. But when hormonal shifts trigger emotional ups and downs, similar to what women experience during their cycles, this conditioning becomes dangerous. Why? Because it tells men that acknowledging their emotional struggles is shameful, when in reality, it's human. The silent struggle. Many men go through life experiencing hormonal shifts without knowing it. They feel tired, irritable, anxious, or emotionally flat, but they don't talk about it. They don't ask for help. They tell themselves they're just stressed, overworked, or not trying hard enough. This silence creates a dangerous cycle. Hormonal changes affect emotional health, but because men are discouraged from talking about emotions, they don't seek help. Their symptoms get worse. They withdraw more. Relationships suffer. Mental health declines. The result? Countless men struggling in isolation, believing something is wrong with them, when it's really just their biology needing support. Society's role in male emotional repression. Traditional masculinity teaches that men should be strong, stoic, emotionally unshakable, always in control, providers, not feelers. These traits aren't inherently bad. Strength and resilience are important. But when men are taught to deny emotional reality, they lose connection with themselves and others. This becomes especially harmful when hormonal changes come into play. A man dealing with low testosterone might feel overwhelmed, but instead of expressing it, he lashes out, withdraws, or numbs the pain with alcohol, overwork, or risk-taking behavior. The emotional disconnection isn't because he doesn't care. It's because he's never been taught how to navigate those emotions in a healthy way. Redefining strength, emotional awareness as power. It's time to redefine what strength looks like. True strength is knowing yourself, understanding when your body is out of balance, when your emotions are signaling something deeper, and when you need support. It's having the courage to speak up and the wisdom to ask for help. When men embrace emotional awareness as a part of their hormonal and mental health, several powerful things happen. They form deeper relationships. They reduce their risk of depression and anxiety. They become better partners, parents, and leaders. They gain clarity and focus in their personal and professional lives. Just like a man trains his body in the gym, he can train his emotional intelligence through self-reflection, communication, and learning to recognize hormonal patterns. Relationships and hormonal awareness. Hormonal shifts don't happen in a vacuum. They affect everyone close to you. A man going through hormonal changes might seem distant, moody, or disinterested. His partner might take it personally, thinking he's losing interest or becoming emotionally unavailable. But if both partners understand how hormones influence behavior, it can shift the dynamic from blame to support. How partners can support each other. Create safe space for conversations. Let your partner know it's okay to talk about how he's feeling without judgment or pressure. Recognize patterns together. If there's a time of month or week when moods shift, talk about it. Awareness helps prevent unnecessary conflict. Practice empathy. Hormonal changes can make anyone feel off. Compassion goes a long way. Encourage healthy routines. Join each other for workouts, cook balanced meals together, practice mindfulness, or unwind with meaningful connection. Celebrate emotional openness. When a man expresses his feelings, reinforce it as a sign of strength, not weakness. This mutual support strengthens emotional bonds and reduces isolation. Instead of seeing emotional shifts as something wrong, they become something manageable together. Male hormones and parenting. Hormonal awareness is especially important for men who are fathers. Studies show that testosterone levels naturally drop in men when they become new dads. This shift is biologically designed to help them become more nurturing and bonded with their children. But many men experience this hormonal drop without understanding what's happening, and it can feel overwhelming. They might feel emotionally raw, more anxious or sensitive, less interested in sex, physically exhausted. Understanding this biological change can help men embrace fatherhood without shame or confusion. Hormonal changes are not taking away their masculinity. They're helping them adapt to a new and important role. Hormonal cycles and men's mental health. One of the biggest dangers of ignoring hormonal health in men is the toll it takes on mental health. Depression and anxiety in men are often underdiagnosed or misdiagnosed because they show up differently. Instead of sadness or tears, men may show irritability, anger, recklessness, numbness, withdrawal. Hormonal imbalances often exacerbate these symptoms. Testosterone, cortisol, dopamine, and serotonin all play a role in how the brain regulates emotion. When these are out of balance, mental health suffers. But because mental health is still stigmatized among men, and hormones are rarely part of the conversation, many don't get the help they need. This needs to change. Making hormonal health mainstream for men. It's time to bring male hormonal health into the mainstream. Just as we've normalized talking about periods, PMS, and menopause, we must normalize daily testosterone fluctuations, irritable male syndrome, andropause, emotional changes due to hormones, hormonal health screenings for men. Boys should be taught from a young age that emotions are natural. Men should feel empowered to speak about how they feel, physically and emotionally, without ridicule. And partners, workplaces, and communities should support emotional health in men the same way they do for women. The future of male health is balanced. Imagine a world where men track their hormonal rhythms just like women track their cycles, where a man notices a drop in energy or a shift in mood and says, "Looks like my testosterone's dipping. I'll take it easy today," where he has the tools, language, and support to respond to his body instead of ignoring it. This isn't weakness. It's awareness, intelligence, power. In the next part, we'll dive into the future of hormone health for men, how technology, science, and new cultural shifts are transforming the way men approach their bodies, and how you can be part of that transformation. The future of hormonal health in men, awareness, technology, and empowerment. As science evolves, so does our understanding of the male body. For too long, male hormonal health has been overlooked, treated as less complex, less dynamic, and less in need of monitoring than female biology. But recent studies and medical advancements are changing that narrative. The future is clear. Hormonal health matters for men, and it's time to take it seriously. The rise of hormone awareness. More men today are starting to ask questions. Why do I feel exhausted even after a full night's sleep? Why am I so irritable lately? Why has my sex drive changed suddenly? Why am I losing motivation for things I used to enjoy? These are not random concerns. They're deeply tied to hormone levels, especially testosterone, cortisol, and even serotonin. Men's health professionals are beginning to focus more on hormone testing, education, and treatment options. Clinics specializing in men's wellness and hormone optimization are becoming more common, and more doctors now routinely check testosterone as part of standard male health screenings. Awareness is the first step, but awareness without tools leads nowhere. That's where technology steps in. Tech tools for tracking male hormones. Just as women have apps for tracking periods, ovulation, and symptoms, men are beginning to see similar tools emerge for hormonal rhythm and well-being. New and emerging tools. Wearables like fitness trackers now monitor sleep cycles, stress levels, and physical recovery, all of which relate to hormonal balance. Men's health apps are being developed to track mood, energy, libido, focus, and even possible testosterone fluctuations. Home hormone test kits allow men to check testosterone, cortisol, and other biomarkers without needing to visit a clinic. AI-driven wellness platforms analyze daily patterns and offer insights like, your motivation seems to dip every third week. Consider checking testosterone or adjusting your routine. This kind of personalized insight is revolutionary. It empowers men to understand their bodies rather than feeling like victims of invisible forces. Personalized hormone optimization. We are entering an era of precision health. Instead of one-size-fits-all solutions, men can now receive treatments tailored to their unique hormonal profile. Some options include natural supplementation. Adaptogenic herbs like ashwagandha, fenugreek, and maca root support hormonal balance without drugs. Targeted nutrition plans, designed based on lab results, activity level, age, and personal goals. Sleep optimization programs, structured to support nighttime testosterone production. Biohacking protocols, involving cold exposure, red light therapy, and specific breathing techniques that positively impact hormones. And for those with significant imbalances, testosterone replacement therapy, TRT, when medically supervised, can be life-changing. The key? Personalization and responsibility. TRT isn't a shortcut. It's a tool that should be used only when necessary and with expert guidance. When misused, it can harm natural testosterone production or cause long-term side effects. Cultural shifts around male emotion and hormones. Beyond science and tech, what's perhaps more transformative is the cultural shift that's beginning to unfold. More public figures, athletes, and influencers are opening up about hormonal health, mental health, and emotional struggles. Men are starting to say, "I'm tired, and I don't know why. I've lost interest in everything I love. I think my body is trying to tell me something." This vulnerability is powerful, it's contagious, and it's helping rewrite outdated beliefs about masculinity. Instead of being told to tough it out, men are learning to tune in, to track, to reflect, to treat their health as a whole body experience, not just physical strength or appearance. The more we normalize conversations around male hormones, the more tools, treatments, and emotional support will become available. Hormonal cycles in fatherhood. Leadership and creativity hormones don't just affect mood, they affect how men show up in every role they play. As fathers, hormonal changes support bonding, patience, and nurturing. When balanced, they deepen connection with children and family. When unbalanced, they can lead to detachment or reactivity. As leaders, confidence, decision-making, empathy, and stamina are all tied to hormone health. A leader with balanced hormones is more emotionally stable, focused, and communicative. As creatives, testosterone affects motivation, dopamine affects inspiration, and serotonin supports emotional resilience. When hormones are in sync, men feel more flow, more drive, and more joy in creative expression. Understanding these cycles allows men to plan their life around their strengths, optimizing rest, focus, creativity, and relationships at different phases of their hormonal rhythm. What the next generation needs to know. Perhaps the most important impact of this hormonal revolution is what we teach the next generation of boys and young men. They deserve to grow up understanding that emotions aren't weakness, they're signals, that hormonal shifts are natural and manageable, that tracking health is masculine, that asking for help shows maturity and strength. Imagine schools teaching boys how to read their emotional state, recognize stress responses, and understand hormonal health the way they teach physical fitness or math. Imagine parents discussing not just puberty, but emotional shifts and mood cycles that continue into adulthood. This is the future. Emotionally intelligent, hormonally aware men who take charge of their health, respect their rhythms, and support each other in doing the same. In the final part, we'll pull everything together, summarizing the signs, solutions, and a new vision for manhood that honors both strength and sensitivity. Part 6. Embracing the new masculinity, a balanced future for men. For too long, society has clung to a narrow definition of masculinity, one that celebrates toughness, stoicism, and silence over vulnerability, self-awareness, and balance. But as we've explored, hormonal changes in men are real, impactful, and deeply connected to emotional and physical health. Ignoring them doesn't make a man stronger. Understanding and embracing them does. This final part isn't just a conclusion, it's a call to action for men to reclaim their health, redefine their masculinity, and step into a new era of empowerment. The truth. Men experience hormonal cycles too. Let's break it down clearly. Testosterone levels fluctuate daily and seasonally, just like estrogen does in women. Emotional states such as irritability, anxiety, fatigue, and even sadness can be triggered by these hormonal changes. Hormonal changes in men can affect sleep, libido, focus, energy levels, muscle mass, and motivation. These changes are especially noticeable during big life events like fatherhood, aging, high stress, or burnout. This isn't weakness, it's biology. And understanding biology is power. The modern man, strong, aware, and emotionally intelligent. True masculinity in today's world looks different. It's no longer about pretending to be unshakable. It's about being tuned in to your physical and emotional self. That means noticing your mood and energy fluctuations, being honest when something feels off, talking openly of stress, anxiety, and burnout, taking responsibility for your well-being through self-care and support, building emotional intelligence alongside physical strength. This version of masculinity doesn't erase toughness, it redefines it. Now, strength includes softness. Power includes vulnerability. Leadership includes empathy. Building a hormone-healthy lifestyle. Now that you know the truth about men and hormonal shifts, what can you do to take charge of your health? 1. Track your patterns. Keep a simple journal or use an app to monitor your mood, energy, libido, and focus throughout the day and month. After a while, you'll notice rhythms. 2. Prioritize sleep. Sleep is when testosterone is produced. Poor sleep equals hormonal chaos. Aim for 7 to 9 hours of quality rest every night. 3. Train smart. Exercise boosts testosterone, but overtraining can crash it. Balance weight training with rest, stretching, and stress relief activities like walking or yoga. 4. Eat for hormones. Eat whole foods rich in zinc, vitamin D, magnesium, and healthy fats. Cut down on processed food, sugar, and alcohol, which disrupt hormones. 5. Manage stress. Chronic stress floods your system with cortisol, which wrecks testosterone and emotional stability. Practice meditation, deep breathing, or mindfulness. 6. Get regular checkups. Ask your doctor to test hormone levels, especially if you're experiencing low energy, low libido, depression, or brain fog. 7. Talk it out. Whether with a therapist, friend, or partner, talking about what you're feeling helps process emotions and reduces the internal pressure that builds up from hormonal changes. For partners, supporting the men in your life. If you're someone who loves, lives with, or works closely with men, your role in this shift is powerful. You can help by encouraging open conversations about emotions, not minimizing or mocking emotional expression, learning about men's hormonal rhythms and symptoms, supporting lifestyle changes that promote hormonal health, recognizing that just like PMS in women, hormone-related mood changes in men are real and valid. Supportive relationships can become safe havens for men navigating their emotional and hormonal health. That support creates more loving, connected, and honest connections. The ripple effect, healing generations. When men begin to honor their hormonal rhythms and talk about emotional health, the impact reaches far beyond individual well-being. Fathers raise emotionally aware sons who aren't afraid to express themselves. Partners experience deeper intimacy and understanding. Workplaces benefit from men who are more balanced, focused, and collaborative. Communities gain from the wisdom, stability, and kindness of men who are truly in tune with themselves. The shift starts small, with one conversation, one journal entry, one therapy session, but it spreads. And soon, what was once hidden becomes normal. What was once shameful becomes celebrated. Final message: hormonal health is human health. This entire journey has revealed one powerful truth. Hormonal health isn't just a women's issue, it's a human issue. Men have been left out of this conversation for too long, and the consequences have been silence, confusion, and suffering. But now, we know better. Science, culture, and personal experience are coming together to form a new, inclusive understanding of what it means to be a man. A man who listens to his body, understands his mind, honors his emotions, supports his relationships, builds strength without sacrificing sensitivity. This man isn't rare. He's rising everywhere. And now, the only question left is, are you ready to become him? Because the new masculinity doesn't wait for permission. It chooses balance, health, and truth, starting today. When biology meets identity, redefining manhood in a hormonal world. As we bring this conversation to a close, it's time to step back and look at the bigger picture. The science is clear. Men experience hormonal changes, daily, seasonally, and across major life phases. But this truth isn't just biological. It's deeply tied to identity, culture, and the future of masculinity. It raises an important question. What's it truly mean to be a man in a world where emotions, vulnerability, and biology all intersect? Let's explore. A hidden battle, the internal struggles men face. Many men grow up hearing phrases like, man up, stop crying, be strong, don't talk about your feelings. But what happens when a man's hormones shift? When testosterone dips, cortisol rises, or dopamine drops? These biological changes trigger real emotional responses: fatigue, sadness, restlessness, anger, confusion. The result? Millions of men silently fighting invisible battles. Withdrawing from relationships, losing interest in things they once loved, snapping in frustration, then feeling shame, feeling off and not knowing why. These are not weaknesses. They are biological signals, the body's way of asking for support. But without education or permission to talk, many men push through, suppress, or isolate themselves. That's not health. That's survival. Why the conversation around male hormones matters. When we recognize that men have hormonal rhythms, everything changes. Mental health gets prioritized, not stigmatized. Emotional communication becomes a strength, not a threat. Preventive care becomes possible before crises happen. Relationships become deeper, more empathetic, and more balanced. Young boys grow up seeing emotion and sensitivity as part of manhood, not opposites of it. In this light, understanding male hormonal shifts isn't just a medical topic, it's a cultural revolution. It breaks down walls, it opens doors, it invites men to be more human. The role of society, what needs to change? To support men on this journey, culture must evolve. 1. Education systems. Schools should teach both boys and girls about hormones beyond just puberty. They should include emotional intelligence, mental health awareness, and male hormonal cycles as part of the curriculum. 2. Media representation. Men in movies, shows, and advertising are often shown as invincible, unshaken, or emotionally closed off. We need more characters who are strong and sensitive, confident and confused, powerful and vulnerable. 3. Workplace culture. Workplaces must start recognizing men's mental and hormonal health as valid. Just as we understand burnout, we must make space for fluctuating motivation, fatigue, or stress. Mental health days and emotional wellness check-ins shouldn't be seen as luxuries. They should be the norm. Hashnar 4. Healthcare access. Men's health clinics should go beyond heart disease and prostate exams. They should include hormone panels, emotional wellness evaluations, and lifestyle coaching as standard care. Generational healing. Breaking the chain. Every man alive today carries the echoes of the men who came before him. Fathers, grandfathers, mentors who may never have been allowed to express how they truly felt. They were taught to suffer in silence. But now, you can break the cycle. By acknowledging hormonal shifts, speaking openly about emotions, and seeking support, you create space for healing across generations. You become the father who raises emotionally intelligent sons. You become the partner who communicates with empathy and presence. You become the leader who models balance and vulnerability. This is legacy building work, the kind that outlives you. Your body, your voice, your power. Let's return to the root of this journey. The male body is not a machine. It's a living, adapting, shifting system. Your hormones are part of your story. They shape your energy, confidence, decisions, relationships, and dreams. The goal is not to fix yourself. It's to understand yourself. You deserve to know why your energy dips some days, why you feel disconnected or overwhelmed, why motivation fluctuates. You deserve to track these patterns, talk about them, and get help without shame. This isn't about becoming less of a man. It's about becoming more of yourself. Where do we go from here? We've now explored every layer of male hormonal changes, from the daily dance of testosterone to emotional shifts to long-term cycles across life stages. You've seen the science, the symptoms, the solutions, and the societal impact. So where do you go from here? Start tracking your mood, energy, and drive. Talk to a healthcare provider about hormone testing. Share what you've learned with a friend, partner, or sibling. Join communities or platforms that support men's wellness. Speak up when someone mocks male vulnerability, because silence helps no one. The final truth. You are allowed to feel tired. You are allowed to feel sad. You are allowed to feel disconnected. You are allowed to ask questions. You are allowed to heal. You are not broken. You are beautifully complex. And when you honor your body's natural rhythms, you gain the power to live a life of balance, clarity, and purpose. This is the new face of manhood. Not silent, not stoic, but strong, aware, and whole. And it begins with one choice, yours. The silent revolution. How men can lead the future of emotional and hormonal awareness. As we close this deep and transformative exploration, we come to the final chapter, a bold vision for the future. We've uncovered the silent truth. Men do experience hormonal changes that affect their emotions, energy, and well-being. But now it's time to go one step further, because knowledge isn't power until it's used. Understanding male hormones is just the beginning. The real change begins when men step into leadership, not just in work or relationships, but in their own lives. The unspoken power of awareness. What happens when men start paying attention to their internal world? They stop blaming themselves for things beyond their control. They start making choices aligned with their biology, not against it. They develop self-respect rooted in understanding, not ego. They show up in relationships with empathy, not emotional confusion. They stop chasing highs and begin living with balance. Awareness brings freedom, and freedom allows transformation. This is what happens when men stop running from discomfort and start asking the right questions. A new kind of strength. For generations, strength has been defined in physical terms. How much you can lift, how long you can endure, how little you feel. But what if true strength looked different? Strength is waking up and asking, like, how am I really? Strength is having the courage to rest when your body says, I'm tired. Strength is facing your low moods without shame or fear. Strength is choosing a healthy meal when your hormones scream for junk food. Strength is saying, I need help, and meaning it. This kind of strength can't be measured in muscle or bravado. It's the quiet resilience of a man who knows himself. How men can lead a global shift. The world needs more emotionally intelligent men. Men who break stereotypes. Men who talk about hormones, emotions, and mental health. Men who give permission to others to do the same. And it starts with small actions. 1. Normalize the conversation. Start talking about hormonal health in everyday conversations, just like you'd talk about fitness or food. Say things like, I've noticed I feel off on some days. Wonder if it's hormone related. Been tracking my energy levels lately. Turns out they fluctuate a lot. These small statements open big doors. 2. Be the example. Your friends, brothers, or sons may never talk about this stuff unless you do it first. Show them it's okay to feel things, to slow down, to ask questions. 3. Advocate for better care. Ask your doctor to include hormone panels during checkups. If they resist, push for it. If you're in a leadership position at work, promote policies that support men's mental and emotional well-being. Support other men. Create or join spaces, online or offline, where men talk honestly. Support each other. Don't mock or minimize someone's struggles. Help normalize their humanity. Our fatherhood, mentorship, and legacy. Whether or not you have children, every man has the power to be a mentor, to guide others, to leave a legacy of emotional openness and hormonal literacy. Fathers can teach their sons that it's okay to feel. Coaches can show young boys how to recognize and regulate their moods. Mentors can model vulnerability, honesty, and health. Leaders can build organizations where men thrive, not just survive. You might not change the world overnight, but you can change your world. And that's how revolutions begin, from the inside out. Final reflections. The inner compass hormones may shift. Moods may rise and fall, but inside every man lies something constant, a compass. That compass is made of truth, instinct, and desire. Truth that says you're allowed to feel. Instinct that says slow down and listen. Desire that says you were made for more than survival. By honoring your biology, listening to your mind, and speaking your truth, you become more than just a man. You become a whole human being. And in doing that, you become a mirror, reflecting what's possible for every other man who's still hiding, still hurting, still wondering if he's alone. He's not. You're not. The new standard of manhood. We end this journey with a bold redefinition, not of hormones, not of symptoms, but of masculinity itself. The new man is not afraid of change, he embraces it. He's not ashamed of emotion, he owns it. He's not disconnected from his body, he lives in tune with it. He doesn't suppress his cycles, he flows with them. This is not weakness. This is evolution. And if you've made it to this final chapter, then you're already part of that evolution. You're already leading the way. So take what you've learned, honor your cycle, speak your truth, live with awareness. And remember, you were never broken. You were simply unheard. Until now. Embracing the full spectrum, hormones, humanity, and the journey ahead. You've made it this far, through science, emotion, identity, and legacy. Now, in this final stretch of our exploration, we step into something even more powerful, the integration of it all. Understanding that men experience hormonal shifts isn't just about biology, it's about accepting that we are fluid beings, changing, evolving, and cycling through seasons, just like everything else in nature. This is not a flaw, it's a feature, a truth that invites us to live more fully, not by resisting change, but by embracing it. Beyond testosterone, a symphony of chemicals. Most discussions about male hormones focus on testosterone. It's often seen as the masculine hormone, tied to strength, aggression, sex drive, and energy. But the reality is far more complex. The male body runs on a hormonal symphony. Testosterone, confidence, drive, muscle growth, libido. Cortisol, stress response and energy regulation. Dopamine, motivation, pleasure, reward. Serotonin, mood balance and emotional resilience. Oxytocin, bonding, empathy, love. Estrogen, brain function, mood, bone health. Melatonin, sleep, recovery, rhythm. All of these hormones interact. When one shifts, it affects the others. Your mood, decisions, energy, creativity, and even sense of purpose are part of this chemical conversation. This means your emotions are not weakness. They are data, signals from your internal systems asking to be heard. The myth of consistency. One of the biggest lies men are told is that they're supposed to feel the same every day. Same energy, same strength, same focus, same drive. But nothing in nature works like that. The moon has phases, the ocean has tides, trees grow, shed, and rest. Even the sun shifts in intensity throughout the year. So why should men be any different? The truth is, you're meant to fluctuate. Some days will be powerful. Some will be quiet. Some will be emotional. Some will be clear-headed and sharp. And that's okay. Consistency doesn't come from always feeling the same. It comes from learning to navigate your changes with awareness. Self-care as strategy, not indulgence. In this new understanding of manhood, self-care is no longer optional. It's strategic. When you understand your hormonal patterns, you can plan your schedule around energy highs and lows. Eat foods that stabilize mood and support testosterone. Sleep in ways that enhance recovery and hormone production. Exercise according to what your body needs, not what ego demands. Connect socially when oxytocin is low. Rest deeply when cortisol is high. Create when dopamine is surging. This isn't weakness. This is mastery. This is you becoming the CEO of your own biology. Relationships. How hormonal awareness transforms love. Now imagine bringing this knowledge into your relationships. When a man understands his cycle, he communicates better. He knows when he's more likely to feel irritable and says so. He can ask for space or connection based on how he feels. He becomes more compassionate when his partner is also navigating her own cycle. He breaks free from toxic patterns of shutdown or explosion. He shows up with presence, not performance. This builds relationships rooted in emotional literacy and mutual respect, not confusion, blame, or emotional suppression. When two people understand each other's rhythms, they move together with grace, not friction. Healing the masculine wound. So much of modern masculinity has been shaped by silence, shame, and suppression. Men told to be providers, but not nurturers. Fighters, but not feelers. Independent, but not intimate. Stoic, but not soft. Productive, but never paused. But this model is collapsing because it's incomplete. We are entering a time when the whole man is being invited forward. The man who leads and listens. The man who lifts others and rests when needed. The man who expresses anger and also joy, fear, and tenderness. The man who knows his strength comes from alignment, not denial. Healing the masculine doesn't mean becoming someone else. It means coming home to who you really are. Your hormones are not the enemy. Let's make one thing clear. Hormonal changes are not your enemy. They are your compass. Feeling off? It's a signal. Feeling anxious? Maybe your cortisol is high. Feeling unmotivated? Dopamine could be low. Feeling restless? Your testosterone might be in flux. Feeling deeply emotional? It could be a perfect time to reflect, not suppress. When you listen to your body, you become a partner in your own health. You stop fighting the flow and start surfing the wave. The invitation. So here's the invitation, plain and powerful. Learn your rhythm. Track your mood, energy, sleep, and drive for a few weeks. Seek hormone testing if something feels off. Open up a conversation with friends, your partner, your doctor. Drop the shame. Pick up the science. Stop pretending. Start feeling. This is the edge of evolution, not just personal, but collective. Because when men change, the world changes. Closing, the sacred masculine awakens. We end with this truth. You were not born to be a machine. You were born to feel, shift, evolve, and rise. You are not your testosterone levels. You are not your productivity. You are not the stories culture told you. You are a full spectrum being, complex, dynamic, and worthy of love in every phase of your cycle. The sacred masculine is rising, not as a conqueror, but as a conscious force. Not to dominate, but to integrate. Not to hide, but to heal. Not to harden, but to fully awaken. And the world is ready for now. Are you ready for you? Redefining the male identity. The path forward. The journey we've taken together wasn't just about hormones. It was about identity. About dismantling outdated models of what it means to be a man and replacing them with something authentic, grounded, and human. Now, in this final part, we focus on building the future. Not just living with hormonal awareness, but using it to transform your life. This is about redefining masculinity for yourself and for generations to come. Masculinity 2.0, the conscious upgrade. Old masculinity was defined by dominance, silence, and emotional restraint. The new masculinity is defined by self-awareness, emotional literacy, bodily connection, balance, not burnout, presence over performance. This is not about becoming less of a man. It's about becoming more fully human while honoring your masculine essence. You can be both strong and sensitive, both analytical and intuitive, both driven and deeply present. This is your evolution. The science is just the beginning. We've broken down the biology. We've explained how male hormones do fluctuate daily, monthly, and across seasons of life. But what do you do with that knowledge? You integrate it. You track your energy and emotions like an athlete tracks performance. You get regular hormone checkups the same way you get blood pressure checked. You eat, move, sleep, and connect based on what your body needs, not what your ego demands. You treat your mental health with the same respect as your physical health. You allow space for rest, creativity, and recovery. In other words, you begin living in alignment. Daily practices for the hormone-aware man. Want to live more consciously with your body and hormones? Here's a daily blueprint. 1. Morning check-in, ask, how do I feel today? Note your mood, energy, motivation, and clarity. This builds emotional intelligence and hormonal awareness. 2. Movement with purpose. Exercise boosts testosterone and dopamine, but not every day needs to be intense. Cycle between strength, cardio, stretching, and rest depending on how you feel. 3. Eat to support your system. Prioritize protein, healthy fats, and fiber. Reduce sugar, processed food, and alcohol, which spike and crash hormones. 4. Stress check. High cortisol damages testosterone and mood. Breathe deeply. Meditate. Walk in nature. Even 5 minutes helps balance your system. 5. Sleep as a ritual, not a reward. Testosterone regenerates during deep sleep. Go to bed on time. Cut screen exposure. Make sleep a sacred practice. 6. Connect authentically. Talk to friends, check in with your partner, or simply journal. Oxytocin increases when you feel safe, seen, and heard. These habits aren't luxuries. They're your lifeline to hormonal harmony. Men in midlife, navigating andropause. Most people have heard of menopause, but fewer talk about andropause, the gradual decline in testosterone that affects men, usually after age 40. Symptoms include low motivation, fatigue, mood swings, reduced muscle mass, lower libido, difficulty focusing. This isn't something to fear, it's something to prepare for. With awareness and the right support, nutritional, lifestyle, and sometimes medical, you can thrive through midlife and beyond. You are not fading, you're simply entering a new cycle. One that calls for wisdom, not just speed, depth, not just dominance. Ha, the next generation. What do we teach our boys? If we want to raise healthy men, we need to give boys better tools. Imagine if young men were taught that their bodies change, and that's okay, that emotions are normal and hormones impact them, that their worth isn't in how much they suppress, but in how much they understand. That being strong doesn't mean being silent. Imagine a world where boys grow up learning that hormones don't make you broken, they make you human. Taking care of yourself isn't weak, it's wise. You don't have to choose between masculinity and mindfulness. You can have both. This is how cycles of repression end. This is how emotional health becomes generational. Collective healing, men supporting men. If you felt alone in your emotional or hormonal struggles, you're not. Millions of men experience mood swings they don't understand, fatigue they can't explain, low drive that causes shame, high stress with no safe outlet, and the silence around it makes them feel broken. But when one man opens up, it gives others permission to do the same. Start small. Start honest. Start somewhere. Say to a friend, have you ever felt like your energy just crashes for no reason? Or, lately I've been learning about how hormones affect men too. You're not just sharing information, you're breaking centuries of silence. Becoming a hormone-conscious leader. Whether you're a father, teacher, coach, entrepreneur, partner, or mentor, you're in a position of influence. When you model hormone-aware living, you show others what's possible. You create safer spaces at work. You help relationships become deeper and more balanced. You raise boys who aren't ashamed of being human. You support partners with empathy and understanding. You lead with awareness, not ego. This is how change spreads from the inside out, one conversation at a time. It's time to come home to yourself. This story isn't about becoming someone new. It's about remembering who you are, who you've always been, beneath the pressure, the silence, the denial. A man with seasons, a man with depth, a man with emotion, strength, sensitivity, rhythm, and reason. A man in tune with his biology, his mind, and his truth. You are allowed to feel. You're allowed to shift. You're allowed to rest. You're allowed to change. You're allowed to be whole. This is your permission. This is your map. This is your return to self. And it starts right now. So the next time someone says men don't have cycles, you'll know the truth. They do. Just not in the way we were taught. Because understanding your body, your emotions, and your rhythm isn't weakness. It's wisdom. And this wisdom is the beginning of a stronger, healthier, more awakened man. The kind of man the world needs now more than ever.